I remember telling myself, I was like, hitting a good tee shot here could be the difference between getting your PGA Tour card and not. So I was like, you just have to hit a good shot. And I feel like in tournament golf, sometimes like there's holes where you just have to hit a good shot. Like that's what you have to do.
Welcome to the show, Brandon Wu. Brandon Wu's the guest today.
Yeah, that's not me. That will be me. Half a second.
Oh, I see.
Welcome to the show, Brandon Wu. And then I'm like, hi.
People would think that you were Brandon Wu?
I mean, it's an audio format. How could they know?
Did you really think that JoJo was Brandon Wu? You could try it. What's up, Brandon?
Oh, I could, but I think it's trouble for everyone.
You guys are like the same age.
Similar age. That's sad. Wow, that's true. He's older than me.
Why is that sad?
He's older than me. I got a chance.
He's accomplished quite a bit.
Which, speaking of, 25 years old, second year on the PGA Tour.
I mean, a lot. I mean, he qualified for the Open. He won the 2020 Korn Ferry Championship.
Yeah, I think he was T2 at the Mexican Open earlier.
It's insane.
This spring. He's done a lot. He's a Stanford grad. He's a great guy. It was nice of him to,
He's a great guest.
So when was this recorded? Because this is kind of cool that he decided to do
on
the
Saturday,
interview.
the day he missed the cut. We texted him Friday night. I was like, yo, B, Woo, you want to come over? He's like, sure, I'd love to.
Immediately on. And,
before he catches a train to London with his family, his brother and his mom. So cool. Or his girlfriend?
Yes, yeah. He rolled with a very thin entourage. He'll talk about it on the podcast, and you definitely want to listen to this. He qualified for the Open the Sunday prior.
So intense. Change plans.
In Scotland, T6 at the Genesis, and was like, okay, I guess I'll stay.
It's a cool story because it was like this complicated, sequence of events that had to take place for him to, get the strokes in the clubhouse. He couldn't be tied and needed to be outright third or sixth. Or really interesting story. I mean, you realize these guys' lives hang in the balance of that board, that leaderboard.
Yeah, and
life on the leaderboard, bro.
Especially if you're already in the clubhouse and you're just staring at the names.
Just staring there, just literally at the club. I mean, what are you doing? Are you eating snacks? Or are you just sitting there? He was like, I left and turned my phone off.
I hate when these 25-year-olds are just so well adjusted.
He's like, I'm just going to turn my phone off. That's the healthiest thing. He's a healthy man. Speaking of healthy men, this week and every week, you can bet on healthy men in the PGA Tour using FanDuel Sportsbook. 2022 Rocket Mortgage Classic is making its way to round out the regular season. It's the second to last event, and it's gonna lock and load. It's gonna rock and road tomorrow.
Ooh, Detroit kicking off tomorrow.
Road.
Defending champ Cam Davis and Finau will be back in the field. I'm not going to say it. I'll let everyone else say it.
Dang, dude, it happened. He said Finau wins. You said Smith wins. Is Cam Davis going to win?
No, because I looked on FanDuel. Do you know what the odds are for Brandon Wu to win?
Oh, my God. 6,000?
Plus 14,000.
14,000?
Plus 14,000.
Oh, you're calling it now. You're saying Brandon Wu.
Well, that would be quite something. But if you put $10 on Brandon Wu on the FanDuel Sportsbook app, you would win $1,400. Just a $10 bet.
I mean, sign up now. Get your no sweat first bet today. If you don't win, you're going to get $1,000 back in free bets. Betting on FanDuel has got great promotions every day. Safe and secure app. Get paid fast. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook app. And put $10 on BWoo because that's the story today. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and use the promo code RGC. Make sure that you use that code and get started. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Promo code RGC. All right, on to BWoo.
All right, so here we are. Brandon Wu, how are you feeling today?
Good. I mean, it's a beautiful day in the home of golf, so I can't complain.
You and I have I feel like we've been about to meet for years. Maybe you don't feel that way. Maybe that's just me.
No, yeah. I think paths have been close to crossing. I remember the first time briefly we were at Portrush and played a few, maybe with Charlie Hoffman or something, and you had the ace cam going. So yeah. I remember that time. But,
yeah, you passed through there. What was that the 16th hole?
16th hole, yeah. That was
Calamity Corner?
Yeah, that's right. A beast.
That was your first Open that you played in?
Yeah. So I was still an amateur at the time, and went through final qualifying here in Scotland, and I was so stoked to be there.
So how does that work? You're one of four at that point, right? 4 amateurs qualify for the Open.
Every year, the British Am Champ, US Am Champ, a couple of those, a handful of amateurs get in through there, and then that year I just decided, I was exempt into final qualifying. So the way my Stanford coach put it. It was like, you're 36 holes away from playing the Open Championship. You know, why not give it a try? So I was like,
Whoa.
all right, sounds good.
And so tell me about those 36 holes.
We played at Fairmont St. Andrews, so not far from here, actually. But yeah, it was pretty breezy that day, blowing about 20 the entire day, and I was off to a good start in the morning, and I think ended up winning by 3. So kind of cruised.
By 3?
Yeah. So it felt good.
Did you know a lot of the cats you were playing against?
To be honest, I really didn't.
Really?
So I mean, maybe a few names here and there, but yeah, I didn't really know that many people.
That's amazing. So obviously you played in this year's Open at St. Andrews. Backing up though, like you're in Stanford. What's that moment like when you get in? Because that's got to be a big deal for a golfer.
Yeah, for sure. I think I'd kind of always wanted to go to Stanford, and throughout high school, worked hard to try and hopefully make that a reality. And yeah, I'll never forget, the coach called me and I was with some of my friends, and he's like, "Hey, you're in." And I was ecstatic.
Just called your cell phone.
Did
you have his number saved in your phone?
Yeah. Because we had been talking a little bit through recruiting and whatnot. But so I think at Stanford it's a little bit different, where your application needs to be approved by the admissions department. So that's the golf can be there and the coach can kind of send it forward, but you need to have the grades and all that other stuff. So that was kind of the last hurdle to get over.
So you also care about academics, or you at least do well?
Yeah, I would say I was kind of like a career B+, A- student, where I felt like
That's great.
Good enough to get by, but was never like a standout star student.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have 2 younger brothers.
What are they like?
One is 22 years old, or 21 years old. Yeah,
Okay.
He's going to be a senior at Cornell, and he does hospitality.
Okay.
And then the youngest one just turned 14, and he's kind of a golfer as well. So
kind of a golfer as well. What does that mean in the Wu family?
he's interested. He likes to play. I think he's starting to take it a little bit more seriously. He hopefully has college golf aspirations. And
what are you now, 23?
I'm 25 now.
25 now, okay.
Yeah.
So does your youngest brother just like, because I have a 10-year gap between my older brother and myself, and I remember looking up to him tremendously. I mean, I'm guessing he's in like, he's like 9th grade or something like that, freshman year or something.
Yeah.
Like he must just like, you're over here and playing in the Open, he must just be freaking out.
Yeah. I think lucky for him, he's here this week. So
Oh, cool.
he got to come, and like this year he's been to the Memorial, which was awesome for him. And then
Did you guys share a room?
No.
He got his own space.
Yeah, got his own space. But yeah. So it's sweet. I mean, I think for him, he's able to come for a few practice rounds. I think the practice rounds are great for the kids and for my brother, because kind of walk inside the ropes and see all the players and whatnot.
Right.
And
Did you let him hit any shots?
no shots.
Would you get in trouble, you think, or no?
I don't know. I think far away on the course, maybe get away with it. But yeah, it'd be a good story.
Because they don't do a pro-am this week.
Yeah, no pro-am. So it's basically just pros hitting shots. So, yeah.
You seem like you're in a very good mood. Are you?
Yeah, I think yesterday was tough. I played really well the first 2 days, and coming down the stretch, I was kind of right on the cut line, and I made a double on 16, which is pretty costly. And then so it was pretty disappointing to kind of miss the cut like that. But to be fair, like if I asked myself a week ago if would I be excited to be playing the Open, and this is such a cool experience. I got in so last minute Sunday night, so this is
wait, you got in last Sunday night, but I thought you went through traditional qualifying for this year.
No, so this year the qualifying series, I think they call it. So they have 4 separate qualifiers with 3 spots each, but also they have a few spots at some of the events. So for example, the Irish Open, the Scottish Open.
Sure.
So I got one of the 3 spots from the Scottish Open last week.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Because you came in. What did you rank?
I finished 6th there.
T10. Anything inside 10th.
Yeah,
you're
inside
going to the
10th,
Open.
and then top 3 who are not exempt. So basically, it came down to there were a few guys finishing, and I was kind of teetering, on one half in, one half out. So
wow. And so the whole day Sunday. What time did you finish your round on Sunday at Renaissance?
I probably finished like 3-4 o'clock.
And so how long were you just waiting?
Yeah, so I was at the course for about another hour. So there were 2 guys kind of to watch for. I watched the first guy finish. He made a bogey. So then,
and you're fully aware of like all of the balls that need to fall into place for you to get to play St. Andrews.
For sure, yeah. So one big kind of thing working against me was the tiebreaker, which is world ranking. So a lot of the guys still on the course had that over me. So then if we finished tied, they would win that tiebreaker and I'd be out. So I needed to beat them outright.
You couldn't finish in a tie.
Yeah, exactly.
And what was your score to par at the Scottish?
So I can't remember exactly, but I shot 3 under the last day, which was a good round. Yeah.
I love it. You don't even remember the cumulative score. You're just like, doesn't matter. That's so funny. Yeah. Did you make a lot of money last week?
Yeah, I think it was a decent check.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully enough to cover the expenses from this week. So yeah.
Russack's is a nice place. Is that the only room you could get, or what happened?
Yeah, I mean, Sunday night you're scrambling. I mean, I figured everything in town would be booked since the year prior. So kind of just asking around anywhere to stay. And
how many rooms does the Woo entourage need to acquire?
Yeah, I guess just 2. One for me and one for my mom and my brother who were here.
What about Caddy? Did you get what?
Caddy, I think he's really good about finding his own accommodations.
That's his problem.
Yeah.
But he wants to get paid. He finds his own room.
For sure.
Interesting.
So, luckily, I think a couple other caddies had booked rooms maybe a year in advance or something in anticipation, and if they don't get in, then suddenly that room frees up and he's got a roommate.
It's going to someone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Wait, this is so crazy. So you finished the round around 3, and then when do you finally realize that for sure you're not going home?
Well, so like I said, there were 2 guys I was watching. The first guy finished, but I couldn't stick around to watch the second one because I was just sweating it a little too much.
Too much nerves.
Yeah. So I got in the car to head to Edinburgh.
To do what?
I was staying with my friend Simon Holt. Sunday night.
By the way, Simon Holt is a friend of the channel. He was in the first episode of Adventures in Golf.
That's right. Yeah. I was on a United flight one day and I saw that episode, so that was fun. But I got in the car, stopped looking at my phone because the only thing I didn't want was sort of the anticipation of, he hit it here, that's a tough spot, maybe he's gonna make a bogey or whatever. I wanted it just to be done and see yes or no, and
fair,
because it was just kind of a little gut wrenching to be he just hit it here. Oh, he's this putt. Yeah. It was a little.
Yeah, because you could make a birdie from the woods, or you could make a double from the fairway.
For sure. Yeah. So I just didn't want to think about it. Didn't look at my phone for 30, 40 minutes. Just kind of was talking to my driver in the car, trying to get my mind off it, and finally picked up and checked. Had a bunch of messages from my friends. So that's when
they all knew.
Yeah.
So how did they know? Did they know because of the inner workings of the mathematical probability, or was it actually a story that came out that Brandon Wu's in the Open?
It was a story. So I think the announcers are kind of covering it, and if you ever look at, I think maybe Sky Sports coverage or something like that, but they have Open logos next to everyone who's qualified. So it's a big topic, during the Irish, during the Scottish, these events preceding the Open. Who's in, who's out, and who's going to get these final spots. So it's pretty exciting.
Dude, that's so exciting because it's at this point now it transcends a golf tournament, right? I mean, you are Sunday, you're going back to Edinburgh to go crash with Simon. Just a good golfer who has supported you for a while in a way of kind of friendship overseas, right? And then what was your plan Monday? Had you not gotten in?
I was headed home.
Fly home?
Yeah, home to Dallas.
Just American Airlines to Dallas, done.
Yeah, easy enough. So, but it was. I feel like there's you're changing flights often as a tour pro. Usually it's the unfortunate one from Sunday night to Friday night because you're going home early. But this one was I was grateful to be extending my trip.
Yeah. So what's the first thing you do? I mean, obviously you book the hotels, but what's the first thing you do that you're this is a celebration moment, or is there any of that?
I don't know. It honestly didn't even set in for a while because, kind of, it's interesting, when you're in these, heat of the moments, you're so locked in, and you're kind of thinking about it, but it's just, and I honestly, I didn't even believe it at first because so many pieces had to fall into place that last day for me to actually make it, and it was just incredible to have
When you say so many pieces had to fall into place, what do you mean? I know you mean logistically, but are you talking about something bigger?
More just I had to play well. That was the first step.
Right.
A couple people had to, make a few bogeys towards the end. That had to work. The world ranking had to work out. And just because, I knew that I had a chance. And I played great. I made, I think, 2, 10, 12 footers for par my last 2 holes. So I knew those were important and at least gave me a chance. But still needed some help. And, it was just crazy.
That 18th at Renaissance is kind of a big hole.
It was, so it was playing the tough.
I birdied that hole too.
Oh, really?
Oh, you parted. Sorry, never mind.
Yeah. No, but yeah,
I'm just
that
teasing, I just
that hole was a beast because I mean, there's bunkers right about 250 yards to cover, but
it's a 500-yard par 4 or something.
pretty much, yeah, and it's straight into the wind. So I hit 3-wood, and I still had a 5-wood. I couldn't even get it to the green. So
Whoa,
that was a big hole.
was it sunny on Sunday?
It was sunny. Yeah, the
Yeah.
weather was nice.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Where did you stay down in East Lothian? Oh, you stayed in Edinburgh, right?
No, so during the tournament, I stayed in North Berwick actually with Simon's parents. So Simon grew up in North Berwick. His parents still live there, and it was so easy staying with them.
I love it.
Yeah.
So you had experiences in Scotland. Where did you grow up mostly?
So I was born in California and lived there till I was about 8. But then we moved around. We lived in Beijing actually for about 5-6 years. Yeah, and then ended up in Westchester, New York for the rest of my childhood.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm curious to know, like, you know, you've had like a lot of like absolutely incredible golf experiences in the 25 years that you've been alive, and you know, I don't know how long you've been playing golf. How long?
Since I was 6, so
19.
Yeah.
So with all of those 19 years, like you like, I guess I'm curious to know about the break between like the golf on this side of Earth, right? Like the home of golf, kind of like
Right.
as a professional athlete and a golfer who grew up like playing in California, like how do you look at like golf in Scotland? You know what I mean? Like, is it exciting? Was it scary? Like, is it weird? I don't know. How do you understand it?
I really enjoy it. The first time we came over was, I think, fall of 2017. The Stanford golf team does a trip every 4 years or so to Scotland. It's, to learn a little bit more about golf and to kind of see some different courses, and it's a great trip. So that was my first chance playing links golf and my first time meeting Simon, actually. So yeah, and that summer I ended up coming back, or actually a few summers later, came back 3-4 times to play, between qualifying for the Open, playing the Open, and then playing Walker Cup down in Hoylake.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really enjoy links golf. I think it's definitely different. So, as a golfer, like, to be able to experience sort of the different course, the different style of play, the different conditions is really interesting. You're kind of expanding your knowledge of golf. So I really like it.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it really is different. It's just like a different type of food. Like, it's just like I've never tasted anything like this. Right. You've met Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Right.
Met him twice. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it like? Is it clear that it's an alma mater thing, or how does that feel? What does that look like?
It's pretty crazy. I feel like I've done, as a professional the last few years, I've done a good job of not viewing, it's like, it's crazy. You're seeing your idols, and then now they're sort of your peers. You're playing against them. You're trying to beat them. But Tiger's probably been the toughest one to get over. I'm still excited to see him on the range. Or I remember yesterday, I think I was on hole 5 when he was coming up 13. I asked my caddy a few holes prior, like, at what point are we seeing Tiger today? Like, because we're bound to cross paths with him at some point. And it's pretty cool seeing him walk by, seeing the crowd, and just pretty special.
Yeah. What was the experience like meeting him? Just pretty casual, or?
The first time I met him was at Stanford. He was trying to come back for the Safeway Open one year, and he was just at Stanford practicing. So, it was funny. I think he was out there early Saturday morning, and, the men's and women's golf teams were all out there practicing, trying to get a glimpse of Tiger.
Because you knew he was coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But I kind of semi-met Tiger once in China when I was a kid. So
interesting.
He would play the HSBC in Shanghai.
Right.
And one year I was kind of standing right behind, I think it was the 10th tee box, kind of in his line of sight. And he saw me, he said hi, and I was like, hello. I don't know if he was surprised that I was speaking English or something, but he gave me his ball. So that was a pretty cool story.
How old were you?
Like, I must have been 8 or 9 years old.
Just a kid, like Velcro shoes.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
shit.
exactly. So that was cool.
It's so incredible. Like, the idea, it's. I feel like this week has been interesting, right? Because we've been waiting for this tournament for years at the old course, right? We've been waiting for the Open to return. Like, we were ready for it before COVID. Then it was postponed, and then it was moved around. And I mean, it's basically 2 years late, right, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's also been like a lot has happened with Tiger Woods. We know this is his favorite course. Seeing him here, it's like very. We haven't really seen him. We haven't really believed it. Like, because the Southern Hills, we were like, that's a lot of walking, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It's just kind of been an interesting week to really look at all this stuff. And I feel like a lot of people have been talking about, I don't know, like how big Tiger is. I think as he gets, what is he, 46 now? 40, something like that? Like 48? I don't even know. But like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just it's just interesting. I don't know if like people have been talking about it a lot. Does that, I don't know what even to say there really, but
Yeah, I feel like it's interesting to see how his career and his influences kind of changed over the years. Like this is, I think, such a cool part of his life where everyone is rooting for him. Everyone's happy to see him playing and competing, and he might not be kind of playing to the level that he wants to or that he used to, but it's so good for the game of golf. It's so good for the fans and for all of us players. We all idolize Tiger, so it's really cool to see kind of this stage of his career.
yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that every golfer idolizes Tiger. Like that's a fucking lot of people. I wasn't there when he came up 18 yesterday, but I heard it from another building.
Yeah.
I could hear. I was like, "What just happened?" And it was like, "Oh, Tiger's like."
Yeah.
He's leaving Scotland tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah,
whoa. And it's interesting because it's even like, that doesn't happen a lot where people are like, thank you, I guess. I don't know. Okay, enough kind of Tiger discussion, but I guess like I wanted to kind of talk about like, your week here, right? This unexpected week, I guess. Like you didn't know until the last minute. Like what? You've played the Old Course before. How many times?
I played Dunhill Links one year. That was
Cool.
actually my first professional tournament, which was
Sick.
super fun. Yeah. And
Who's
then
your partner?
I played with Jim Crane.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, I got to know Jim really well that week,
Yeah.
which was great. And so that was really fun. And then I played once for fun before that. Yeah.
Cool. So you're coming in, you got some understanding, it's whatever. And like, but what like stuck out to you this week, right? As you're like looking back on the week, you're like, wow, that was like a highlight, anything?
I think just, I feel like the Old Course is interesting. To be fair, like the first time I played it, I was like not super impressed. A lot of blind shots. I didn't really know where I was going, but I started to appreciate that back nine, especially. I think it's so cool picking targets in town. You're basically, aiming at this church spire or whatever, and it's so unique. Like where else are you hitting at these kind of historic buildings and playing out your way into town and seeing the people like just walking through the streets, So it's really fascinating and pretty unique.
Oh, that's an interesting way to look at it. It's almost like a video game.
For
like
sure,
the way you're
yeah.
describing it. The interesting thing about the Old Course and kind of a lot of links golf in general is the sunken tee box. Like the tee box where you're not elevated and you can't see anything.
Yeah.
The way you describe it, it's like on TV when you're watching, all these cameras are 50 feet in the air. Yeah. We're down there like 6 feet in the air, and I'm like, I can't see anything. I don't know what's over there. I'm scared. What was your emotional like walk us through the 36 holes, right? Like where did you like? What was like the kind of like graph of where Brandon's at for these 36 holes?
To be fair, I'm pretty relaxed for most of it.
Okay.
Usually on the course, I like to keep like as steady as possible. But I remember the first hole like very high because obviously it's a wide fairway, so I think I was thinking back to Port Rush. At Port Rush, there's OB left. You can't feel the wind. It's hard off the right. I remember that year Rory, I think, hit one out of bounds. But it's a very difficult shot versus the first tee here. It's a little bit more benign. But it's super interesting. They put the pin very front the first 2 days, and I was telling my caddy, I was like, this is a real gut check, first hole at the Open, your first approach shot, and the pin is, 3 paces over the burn. So you gotta be hitting a good shot. And on the green, my heart was racing. I worked hard to just, try to breathe and slow my heart rate down because I was so kind of amped up for that first hole. But then once, you kind of get settled into your round, it's a little bit easier. I think I made a few birdies my first 9 holes, so I was playing well. And then I missed a short one on 13, so made a bogey that first round. And then I hit one out of position, made another bogey. So that was kind of kind of trying to get back on track a little bit. And then 16, 17, very difficult holes, so you got to finish strong. And then, I think that was my first day. Second day, a lot of anticipation. You're trying your best to make the weekend and play well and get yourself into contention. So you're pretty focused most of the day, just on what you're doing.
So you had what were you in the morning on Thursday?
Yeah, I was, I think, like the third group off on Thursday.
That probably worked out well for you because the afternoon was a little better yesterday. But like I'm curious to know like about like the behind the scenes. So it's like, what the hell do you do Friday until what was your tee time yesterday?
Just before noon, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
that's not that
So,
bad.
yeah, not bad, but I finished about that time on Thursday, so I had about 24 hours off.
Right. Yeah. What do you do with all that time?
So I think I definitely took a nap. I think the 4 a.m. wake up on Thursday was getting to me. But yeah, I think you relax, have some dinner. I think I maybe walked around town a little bit, but not really.
Yeah.
Like I was pretty tired after Thursday.
Sure.
And just getting ready for Friday.
It's a lot of intensity.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you change anything up with the bag or anything like that? You like technical stuff?
No, not really. I think everyone's different. I usually don't practice after my round.
Okay.
I think I try to conserve some energy, and especially if everything felt pretty good. I think if something feels really off, I might try to work on it. But usually, for the most part, it feels all right. And if I didn't play that great, it's because I don't know, made a bad decision or hit a couple bad shots, and just go get it the next day. Do
you have like a mindset around the mental game or some type of approach?
Yeah, for sure. I think the mental game is something I've actually worked really hard on this year. It's really fascinating and it's really tough. I think it's because you're always going to hit bad shots or have things that not go your way, and I think it's really easy to get frustrated. It's easy to get mad, and it's easy to kind of sulk. But it's really difficult to keep your mind in a good place. It's hard to stay positive and kind of make yourself confident. So that's something I've worked hard on this year.
Yeah. Yeah, it is hard. So how do you do it? What's the routine? Can you tell me?
Is
it a secret?
I think no secrets.
Is it
trademarked? Copyrighted. Yeah. But I think breathing is something I really focus on and can help. That's something that I think something I learned was that your mind can only really focus on one thing. So if it's kind of scattered, you just focus on your breathing. At least that's just the one thing you're focused on, and then your thoughts aren't kind of running all around. And then another big thing is just self-talk. I think you just have to pump yourself up. You have to be your best fan. But again, it's hard, after you miss a short putt, you're like, what the hell am I doing?
What am I doing here? Yeah.
Yeah. And, but you gotta.
So what do you say? What's the reverse of that? You must have a line. Come on.
Well, so one thing I've started writing in my yardage book the past couple weeks, I actually got from, I've been watching this show All or Nothing about Premier League soccer.
Okay.
And Jose Mourinho was telling his players in a pregame speech, he's like, nothing that happens out there can take away from your confidence. And I thought that was really interesting. It's like, say you're feeling good before the round, but you miss a few short putts. Like, you can't let that take away your confidence in your short putting. And that was something that I just wrote down in my yardage book and kept kind of looking at and referring to. And that was something that kind of helped me through the past couple weeks.
I love that. Nothing like the confidence is it's not up for grabs.
For sure, yeah. It can't be changed by something that happens. You already have your confidence, and that's something you've either earned or, and nothing that happens today can take away from that.
So to go one level deeper, like, who do you talk to about this? Like, is there a person? Like, is it a conversation that players have amongst each other?
Yeah, I think talking with players is important. I work with a mental coach. I've worked with her for the past kind of 6 or 8 months this year.
Is it Julie?
No. Her name is Sarah.
Okay.
And she's worked with a few different pros or whatever, but she has really good perspective, and I think it's nice to talk with her. A lot of her strategy is she kind of, I'll ask a question, and she'll be like, okay, like, well, what do you think about it? And which is, sometimes like you're kind of looking for the answer, but it forces you to kind of dive into what do you think? Like, what's a good way for yourself? Because, she can give me the answer, but it's way more powerful when I'm thinking through it critically, and she'll help me through that. And so it's cool. It's an interesting process.
That's so cool. Yeah, because that's going to work everywhere, not just on the golf course necessarily. I mean, it's clearly for golf, but I think a lot of amateurs probably have a lot to learn in that way. You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of amateurs come up and just like they're just done before they even put the glove on almost. I mean, it's just like, oh, like I'm terrible at this, and you're like, whoa, dude, like you haven't even hit a ball yet.
Yeah.
Like it's interesting too to hear. I'm curious now, like aside from like where the ball goes during a pro-am, like what do you see that amateurs do that's kind of like eye-opening?
Eye-opening, huh? I guess well, like you just said, their kind of mindset, I can't remember how many times like first thing they say to you, like, oh, I'm going to play terrible today. Or like, oh, you're going to see some terrible golf today. It's like, well, yeah, now that you've said it, like, of course I am.
Cool, that's
right?
going to be easy. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's really interesting. I feel like something I try to tell the pro-am people is like, it doesn't matter if you're hitting bad shots. Like, I'm here to have a good time, like hang out with you guys, and like the golf doesn't matter. Like, don't put too much stress on yourself and whatnot. And
Yeah. It really is not about that for the amateur game, you know? It's so interesting though, because we definitely one of the things I've been noticing recently is when a player will hit a shot and then tell you what happened. Do you know what I mean? Like that went left, and you're like, got it. I saw it too. Like, do you want to narrate the movie I'm watching now?
Exactly.
Like Jim went into a coffee shop. It's so funny that we have this like weird knee-jerk reaction to like describe what just happened.
For sure. Yeah.
I don't know. What do you do on the course that you're like, why do I do that? Do you have anything like that?
I think probably for a lot of people, like talking to the ball, right? Like you're like, did that actually, work? But
what do you say to the ball?
Anything to sit, go, whatever. Don't be in the bunker.
Don't be in the bunker. Dude, this week, that is a problem.
For sure.
In like American golf, like non-traditional golf. Whoa, that's a bold misstatement. But in like Parkland golf, like a bunker isn't a big deal, really.
Right, for sure.
Here it's like a shot.
Yeah. I think that was the number one thing this week off the tee, like avoid the bunkers.
Everything you can do.
Yeah.
What like was there any? Do you have any like idiosyncrasies about the game? Like wraps on the grip, cut your fingernails on Mondays, anything like that? Any weird stuff that you do?
I would say. Not really. I'm actually not super particular, like equipment or whatever. I always mark my ball with a $1 coin, silver dollar.
Cool.
I think that's my
classic.
little one thing. Yeah. It's like, yeah.
Is that with Susan B. Anthony?
Yeah.
That's nice.
It is.
Yeah, I was into coin collecting actually
Really?
as a kid.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was. I was like, I do it. I don't know. Yeah. JoJo's got something. It can't be a coin question.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. You go ahead. I was going to ask about Sacagawea.
Yeah.
No.
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea.
No, it's Sacagawea.
Sacagawea.
Jesus.
No, that's like a common misconception.
No, it's not.
I mean, we can look it up, but I'm going to be right.
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea is the native.
Well, it's kind of like, it's called Austin, not Austin.
Yeah, but it's her name.
Yeah, but you get to pronounce it. Do people mispronounce your name?
Brandon's usually pretty
Brandon's
good.
pretty
People
easy.
misspell it, I bet, all the time.
Yeah. Woo, I've gotten WOO maybe.
Yeah,
but,
misspelled.
Yeah.
Not actually my question, sorry. When you're describing your first hole earlier, and we actually saw you tee off because we were out there for the first couple groups, and you mentioned because of the placement of the pin how amped up you were. And I would have used the term scared shitless if I was playing. You know what I mean? Like, like it wasn't, I was nervous about it, but it's even your phraseology is amped up.
Yeah.
And I wonder, two-part question. One, are you more nervous over the opening tee shot of the Open or your first shot in the Sunday round of the 2020 Korn Ferry Championship? And then two is like, where do you get nervous? Like, do you get nervous public speaking? Like, where is that in your life?
Just for context, this is the Korn Ferry Tour Championship that got you your PGA Tour card.
Yeah.
So that particular tournament is worth. Can you put a number on it?
I don't know. I mean, obviously that career-wise super important and
huge deal.
Like you said, like there was I can't remember the first tee shot that day, but there's one key tee shot. So I played pretty well that round. I knew I was kind of close to the lead, and it's a par 5, kind of a dogleg right with kind of shit on the left, shit on the right, like you don't have to hit driver, but if you hit driver, you could have a 7-iron in, and it's a great chance for birdie. And, I was a little like, kind of protecting. When you're playing well, I feel like you instinctively get this, like, I don't want to ruin it. And I remember telling myself, I was like, hitting a good tee shot here could be the difference between getting your PGA Tour card and not. So I was like, you just have to hit a good shot. And I feel like in tournament golf, sometimes like there's holes where you just have to hit a good shot. Like that's what you have to do. And I was definitely a little nervous on that shot. But outside of that, I feel like there's certain parts of the round you'll get a little nervous at if you have a key putt or something like that. But I've gotten to do some public speaking over the years, and I feel like that's something I kind of enjoy. It's fun sharing. Often it's about golf, so it's easy to talk about. I like sharing kind of my perspective and my thoughts on it, and so yeah, it's all good.
You seem very comfortable here. I guess in closing, I really just have one more question.
Go for it. Rev yourself up.
This is it, right?
You got a different opening this time?
Maybe a little bit of a different question. A different what?
Opening? Are you gonna?
What do you mean?
Like, are you gonna ask it the same way? Or are you gonna lead
Is
into
there a
it?
new way to ask it?
I don't know. You could be like, look around, like name some things.
Oh, okay, all right. Close your eyes.
Okay.
You're walking around the old course at St. Andrews for the 150th Open Championship. There's a lot of things around you that are not alive. There's a lot of structures and items and things that some have been there for thousands of years, some have been there for a week. Mm-hmm. They're inanimate objects. Which one would you be and why?
Which one would I be?
Yes.
Which one would I be? You know, I really love the castle kind of at the end of the road, a little bit run down. Not that that's my personality or anything, but I just feel like it's really iconic. It's kind of a stunning location. You know, a lot of people are walking by it, and I just really like that building. You can't really see it from the course other than maybe a few shots, but yeah, I just kind of like that symbolism of the castle kind of at the end of the road.
Okay. Thank you. That's beautiful.
For those listening along, they kept their eyes closed for the duration of both question and answer. Leaned in.
See it. We were both our eyes. Yeah. So just so I know, where's the castle?
So if you take kind of
by the cemetery?
I think so. So if you walk along the water,
Yeah.
kind of at the end of the road,
Yeah.
As the road kind of starts to bend, I think at the end there's a kind of old ruins of a castle, and
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
I think that's the cemetery. I think that's where Old Tom and Young Tom are
Okay,
buried.
yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's beautiful, man. I love that. That's great. Well, thank you for joining us, Brandon. I appreciate it.
Thank you so
Any
much.
questions for me?
What's your experience like here at the Home of Golf?
You know, it's been an interesting trip, right? It's been very different. Usually, you know, my job is to make videos. This has been a different week. So most of this week has been podcasts. And so that's really great because I really enjoy it. And to be able to have a home base here at the Sounder, like HQ hotel clubhouse kind of thing with this great backdrop, play daily. Like it's just like, it's all just like having a good time with where we are in golf. It's been great, and running into a lot of people that like, you know, like we like haven't really had a chance to sit down together.
Yeah.
You know, it's been great. And I think the interesting thing for me is like my first time ever to the Old Course was right before the 2016 Open, but I wasn't here for the Open. I was just around. First time I ever saw it in person was with grandstands.
Right.
And so now it's been a long time since it's had them. So it's interesting that it's strangely familiar to me with them. But now that there's the tournament with all these people, it's much different energetically. It's exciting to see everybody. So yeah, this week for me has been just a process of like learning something new, kind of like seeing the place with this many people. This is like, I think it's like my 7th trip to St. Andrews.
Right.
And so it feels very different. And again, the task at hand is a little different too. So, yeah, I'm curious to know how it's going to evolve over time. And I honestly do more than I have in a long time, like watching everyone out here play the course. Like I want to play again so badly, but I can't get a tee time. So we'll figure that out. Yeah.
For sure,
yeah.
for
No,
sure.
than's for asking.
Yeah.
Are you're Dallas?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kind of linked into the Dallas golf community? There's just so many pros down there.
Yeah. There's a bunch of pros. I
Yeah.
think Dallas has become really popular, especially in the last few years. I played a course called Trinity Forest, which is great. Harry Higgs plays there.
Cool.
Kelly Craft, a few others. So it's a good time.
Yeah. We got to come up there.
Yeah.
We're
for
like
sure.
right next door. We're in Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, can we come up and film with you? Be fun.
Would love to.
Anytime.
Yeah. Come by.
Cool. Monday. Yeah.
We need
We'll just fly
a tee
with you to
time.
Dallas.
Here's really just a question. A lot of people just go home for the weekend. You know, like what are you sticking around hoping to do in St. Andrews? Do you have a plane ticket? When are you going back?
Yeah, so I'm gonna fly home tomorrow out of London. But you know, today kind of enjoy, walk around. Another nice weather day, so it's perfect. See the town a little bit, and then, yeah, unfortunately, like the going home part of the weekend, sometimes it's just because you're playing the next week or like have to kind of one week after the other. And that's kind of unfortunately like how the pro golf schedule goes. But yeah, you know, that's part of where a lot of time you don't really get to enjoy the places you go to. But, you know, this week, luckily with the practice rounds and whatever, I've gotten to kind of take it in and have a good time. So yeah, it's really been fun being here.
That's awesome.
Cool, man. Thanks, Brandon. I really appreciate it, man.
No, thank you.
This is
Appreciate
cool.
it. Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for listening. See you soon.